Welcome back to Good Knit Kisses. I'm your host Kristen, and today we are talking about yarn. Woo! Oh, I just wanted to clarify and tell you what these different types of yarn are. And it's not the content, but how they are shaped and what this is right here. So we have different names for the way we like to label yarn, but also sitting on this table are a few other things. We're going to cover this in a video series, but we'll talk about the yarn. There's different ways that yarn is wound up. You can see there's different shapes and sizes, and there's different terminology to describe what we're talking about. This particular one, you can see at your regular stores, a lot of acrylics are made this way, and cottons that are inexpensive. They're called a skein. Some people call them a ball, but they are a skein, and they're pulled from the center, which would be from one end. You can also pull from the outside. Here is a ball of yarn. This is from a local yarn store. This one is also a center pull, but we call it a ball. So this is a skein and this is a ball. This is also a ball, but it does not pull from the center. It can be from a scrap of any one of these that you've hand wound yourself, or something that's just been hand rolled. Maybe it has something that has a lot of bulkiness to it and it's not going to pull from the center easily. Over here we have a hank, and a hank, when popped out and unwound, is in a complete circle, and this circle is twisted and rolled up into a hank, and it displays off the beautiful colors of a hand-dyed yarn. These are usually at specialty yarn shops and shows. These are usually hand-dyed. They can come from other manufacturers too, not just an individual seller. This one's from Cascade Yarns. This one right here is from a local seller in Arizona. When you put it on a yarn ball winder, it becomes a cake, and it becomes a center pull. So it makes it really easy. These cakes are great because they can stack up very easily. They're flat bottomed and topped, and it's a way to conserve space. So there you go. Next up, we're going to show you how to make a cake using a yarn ball winder. Stay tuned. We'll take this hank and we're going to unroll it, pop it out, let it unfurl, and you can see it's a circle. Go ahead and leave the tag on. We're going to put it on our winder. Now I have the winder a little bit loose, and I go a little looser to get this all on here. I'm sorry, this is our Swift. Okay, so we're on the Swift. I'm going to take the wrapper off. And then we have this little part joining. Sometimes you'll have them clipped in different sections. They'll either be scrap yarn or they could be attached, especially in the beginning. I like to tie off one of the ends that is going to be the ending, so I don't have it flying around or get caught. So I'm going to take this, make sure it's nice and free to start up. See if you need to unwind anything or get it, or just getting it set up. Okay. Make sure it's not twisted. So in this case, it's a little twisted, so we're going to rotate this around. See if we need to untwist it. Okay, I'm going to slip it back on here. going to go over to, from our swift to our winder. We're going to go down through this little spiral here, and then down again. And now I like to take a little bitty end here and then put it on like this. Okay, so it catches on there, and then this will be the end of my yarn. Okay, and then we're going to start winding this yarn by turning the crank. Make sure that the clamp, it's clamped down to your table, and make sure the swift is clamped down as well. And continue in the same direction. I just want to show you how to problem solve going too fast, and then just start off again, try and get the patterning up. Make sure it's a little taut, make sure it's not caught, and keep going. This is also a great way to see how the yarn patterns, if it does have a pattern. You can even plan out designs that way. Great, and we have a cake. So we have our little center part here. We're gonna push with our fingers and push off with our thumb. Cool. And then we have our center pull, and you can take the outside part of this cake. This goes back inside. The outside part of this cake here. Tuck it in. Take your wrapper, and put it right there, and you have another cake. You can stack these up. Next, we're going to talk about how to figure out how much you used yarn in a project like this. Have you ever wanted to know, do I have enough of this yarn to finish making more of these items, or how much more do I need for my project? Well, you can do it. It's very simple. You can get yourself a postal scale that weighs in grams. See, I've got a conversion here. This one is just a very inexpensive one that I got, and it goes up to 3 pounds. I have my project here, something to write with, and a notepad. Got a calculator on my phone, and you want the information from the wrapper of the yarn of your choice. I've already made some calculations and some notes, so I want to go over these with you. So first, what we want to do, the first step, is to read the label and write the number of grams. So in this particular one, when I read this label, this particular one from Cascade Yarns, this is a 128 Superwash Multis. This is the great color, if you're curious. Okay, so right here it shows we have 100 grams, and that's 3.5 ounces, and it's 128 yards. And then it says /117 meters. So if you work with meters, just substitute the word meters for yards instead, and then you can figure out the same math. So I'm going to concentrate on looking at how many grams and how many yards that we have on here. That's pretty much all the information that I need on here. Now, what I can do is I can take my ball, if I'm starting my project off, I can take my ball and weigh it beforehand to see if it matches what's on my label, because it doesn't always match. So, or I can take what's remaining of my ball and weigh it actually with my project on here if I'm able. So we're not going to do that right now because I've already checked. So it's got 100 grams. So what we're going to do is, sorry, I'm using this as my pointer. We're going to turn on our scale. Okay, let it zero out, make sure that it reads that it's on grams, and then you're just going to put your project on here. Okay, and so this one says that it's 45. So what I've got here is I've written down how many grams are in one hank of my yarn, or one ball or skein, whatever your terms you're working with today. And then we weigh the item on the postal scale, which is what we just did. And I've got 2 mitts that are 45 grams. Now we're going to use this formula. We're going to take your yards that is on your label divided by the grams. So you can use meters divided by grams if you're doing that. And that gets you your yards per gram, or meters per gram. So here's the example. This one said that there was 128 yards and there's 100 grams in the ball. So 128 divided by 100, and I got 1.28 yards per gram. Okay, so now we're going to use this formula down here. Then we're going to, so we've used our calculator here, and that one's pretty easy to check my work. But we are going to take this and, let me put my stuff down. Okay, so we're going to use this formula now. We're going to take the grams of the item. Okay, so we're taking the 45, and then we're going to do it times the yards per gram. Okay, so we're going to take 45 times this 1.28, and we get 57.6. So now I've got, oh, well, I wrote it wrong, but it's 57, I wrote 57.5. So it's roughly 58 yards that was used on this project. So now we can see that if you take the math and take the 128 yards, take that out of it, you've got 70.5 yards left. So I know that that was 2 mitts here. I know that I can make 2 more mitts. So this can help you calculate how much you need to make more, or if you have enough on your project. Be sure, as always, to get extras in your die lots. And I hope this really helps you today. This pattern right here, if you're interested, this is a free pattern on Ravelry. This is the Easy Fingerless Mitts. This is a loom knit conversion, and Stacy Perry has a needle knit version on it as well. Thanks for tuning in to Good Knit Kisses. Have a great day, and happy knitting and crochet. Bye-bye.